Some Dems in my blue state want to go back on trans rights now. They're not even the Liberal Party anymore. Classic. New Jersey Democratic State Senator Sarlo calls trans woman men advocates for sports ban. What a tragic man found in woods fighting war that ended 30 years ago. Advocates for sports ban? Who are you Kauta? Hey, in like the current moment, who the actually believes, like as a Democrat, you're going to gain votes doing this? This is in response to the congestion pricing. I know it. I do subscribe to you. I'm just not logged in. I wonder if this was a similar thing with gay marriage. They never believed it in the first place. They just kept quiet. Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong, guys. If they turn the clock back on gay marriage, there will be a bunch of Democrats who are like, maybe we move too quickly or some bullshit like that. A lot of them just don't believe in anything. They don't. Again, when people in government change parties, they don't change from Republican to Democrat. They change from Democrat to Republican. Why? Because you can buy people into being Republican. You can pay them out. You can bring them over like that. A lot of these people just don't believe in anything. If you have a party that's completely subservient to corporate interests, you're not going to get politicians who actually believe in anything. As a general rule, if a politician wasn't pro-gay marriage until 2015, they're not going to be pro-gay marriage after Obergefell falls. Like, if they had to wait for the Supreme Court to give the thumbs up, if the Supreme Court gives the thumbs down, why would they hold that position anymore? Yeah, Hillary, Obama, yeah, such and such. Yeah, Biden was pro-gay marriage before Obama. He was pushing for that years before Obergefell. Thanks, Biden. Tim Walz was too. Oh yeah, Tim Walz is a pretty genuine guy. Bernie, I mean, he's been for that like at least since the 80s. When asked the question, should men who, or people who were previously men or born as a man who transition to be a woman, should they not compete in women's sports? Why is that a controversial issue that so many of your Democratic colleagues couldn't give a straight answer to? No, we should protect women in sports and see women compete against women. Is this some radical position? How many professional trans female athletes do you think there are in the state of New Jersey? Don't look it up. What is it? Probably like, I don't know, 3? Some shit like that. Maybe. Like, every politician who pretends to care about the sanctity of women's sports, I want to drag them by the ear down to their local police station and like have them ask how many untested rape kits there are. You care about women so much? Senator Sarlo responded, the Democratic Party failed miserably. It's very simple. Males shouldn't be participating in women's sports, whether it's at the rec level, the high school level, the collegiate level, period. That's the end. Adebayo followed up, all right, but I will say this. Some of your colleagues in the progressive wing of the party are not only uncomfortable saying that, they will not say that. Sarlo interjected, I'm not afraid to say it. I feel strongly about that. And I think if we just talked about it a little more straight up, have a little more practical common sense, we could have done better at the polls. Hey, elections have consequences. There's no like meaningful difference between this person and a Republican. Again, like it's just, and again, like you can blame the DNC for this. Republicans, like the GOP, broadly the GOP, does a pretty good job of ensuring ideological compliance within their party. That is to say, if you run as a Republican, the GOP tends to give you support on the condition that you're the right kind of grifter. The Democrats will take corporate grifters who are not planted firmly. I'll put it that way. You know what I mean? Like the Democrats, and this is one of the reasons why Biden had difficulty putting through some of his, like pushing for some of his like big agenda pointers, you know? Democrats, you know, they all split. There's no like group cohesion or whatever. They don't form lockstep. They don't link arms on these points. So you always have like these bullshit pick-me's, you know? We need LBJ again. We need democratic leadership that can bully their underlings. Yeah, literally, what is the point of being in a party if you're not at least somewhat on the same side ideologically? Like, what is the point of having a big tent if the tent is so big everyone fights in it and then the tent falls down? Like what? Like you're not, the whole point of a big tent is that you're supposed to be getting like everyone together for the same cause. If it's everyone together, but then for different causes, what the was the point of the tent?
Potatoes economic issue. But when asked the question,
this is the most New Jersey politician I've ever seen in my life.
Should men who, or people who are previously men or born as a man who transitions to be a woman, that they should not compete in women's sports? Why is that a controversial issue that so many of your Democratic colleagues couldn't give a straight answer to?
This is on PBS? Who gives a shit, dude?
No, we should protect women in sports and women should compete against women. That is some radical position.
A Democratic Party failed miserably. It's very simple, right? Males should not be participating in women's sports, whether it's at the rec level, the high school level, or the collegiate level. Period. At the end.
All right, but I would say this. Some of your colleagues on the more progressive wing of the party are not only uncomfortable saying it, they will not say that. That being said, people can decide for themselves. But moving forward,
Yeah, and then by the way, then you take a look. First of all, you have a New Jersey state senator wearing a mob-style pinstripe suit, so that's just fantastic. Then secondly, wow, what a remarkable coincidence. He's an executive, a construction industry executive. Fantastic. You look, and every time you see a Democratic politician pulling this shit, they're just some business leader who's only Democrat because that's what would get them in office. Like, if this guy was running and he thought he had a better shot of winning as a Republican, he would have run Republican. He doesn't give a Italian American in the garbage disposal industry? Yeah. Born to a pipe fitter and construction supervisor named Anthony Sarlo. Kino. Absolutely fantastic. Love this state. I don't know about that, because why couldn't he run Republican? Because it's New Jersey. New Jersey's mostly a Democrat state. So you run as a Democrat, you're more likely to get elected. Chief Operating Officer at Joseph M. Sanzari, a general contractor specializing in heavy construction, overseen more than $150 million in projects. How much you want to bet that this guy votes in his state senate in ways that enriches him and his company? You know? How much do you want to bet? Oh, which company do you think we should hire to rebuild the turnpike? Well, I have an idea. It's always like this, man. He worked on Route 4, Route 17, completed 2 years ahead of schedule. Well, that's nice. Has 2 sons named Michael and Anthony, who were appointed to the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association by Governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy. He serves as the executive board member and the NJSIAA as an ex officio member. His brother Thomas has been a councilman in Little Ferry and was appointed to the New Jersey Superior Court. Whoa, that's crazy. He has a brother who's in the fucking New Jersey Superior Court too? What a talented family. Wow, and I thought my Balkan shithole was corrupt. I'm telling you, dude, when you get to local politics, America has shit that would make the Balkans blush, okay? Well, maybe that's an overstatement, but at the very least, I think we're linking arms, okay? Across the Atlantic, brothers in arms. Served as mayor of the borough of Woodridge since January 1st, 2000, re-elected in 2003, 7, 11, 15, 19, and most recently 23. He's overseen the redevelopment of the former Curtiss Wright aircraft manufacturing site in Woodridge, new train station, During his tenure as mayor, over 50% of the town's roads have been resurfaced, 1,000 new trees planted, so on and so forth. 7th term as Woodridge mayor. How the f does this guy have the time to be a mayor, a state senator, and a COO for a heavy construction company? Assemblyman, vice chairman of the labor committee. Jesus, if we actually look through this enough, we will find, like, he runs the trash union. Pull up his Path of Exile stats. This guy, well, he's ambitious, I'll tell you that much. Sarlo has been a longtime proponent of the NCAP proposal to build golf courses and homes on the remediated landfills in the New Jersey Meadowlands. He sponsored a bill in 2004 that enabled 3 Meadowlands communities, Lyndhurst, North Arlington, and Rutherford, to negotiate their own deals with NCAP, under which the impacted area municipalities would receive 40 to 50% of all future tax revenues. A judge knocked his 2007 GOP opponent off the ballot, ruling that the outspoken critic of the NCAP project had not collected enough valid signatures to qualify for a ballot position. Even though Guarino was knocked off the ballot because of a lack of signatures, he received enough write-in votes to win the GOP nomination. 5 years on the Woodridge Borough Council, mayor of Woodridge Borough since 2000, so for 25 years now. Borough engineer for the borough of Karlstadt from 1998 to 2009, but had to step down due to a conflict of interest, and is currently serving in the New Jersey State Senate as Assistant Deputy Majority Leader to Senate Majority Leader Teresa Ruiz. Okay, so he's not just a state senator, he's Assistant Deputy Majority Leader, and also Chief Operating Officer of Joseph M. Sanzari Incorporated. He simultaneously holds a seat in the New Jersey Senate and as mayor. This dual position, called double dipping, is allowed under a grandfather clause in the state law, enacted by New Jersey legislator, also signed into law by Governor of New Jersey, John Corzine, in September 2007, that prevents dual office holding, but allows those who had held both positions as of February 1st, 2008 to retain both posts. He drafted legislation to gut public record keeping of corruption. Critics warned senators' bill to amend states' public records law would gut transparency. The bill Senator Paul Sarro introduced Monday is the latest legislative effort to add new hurdles to the Open Public Records Act, which was meant to expand public access to government records and is commonly referred to as Oprah. Least corrupt New Jersey politician? Yeah. But again, like, this is what I mean with the Democrats. This is why you can't trust them, okay? Because a lot of them are this. This is not the only guy that's like this. A lot of them are like this. This guy might be like an especially... This guy's a little over the top, I'll admit. This guy's a little more on the nose than a lot of them, you know? He was forced to testify in a corruption trial. Corruption trial of former Bergen County Democratic Organization Chairman John, God, he's funny. Oh my God. On October 20th, 2024, Sarlo was inducted into the National Academy of Construction, an organization headquartered at the University of Texas at Austin, in Austin, Texas. Just one day later, Sarlo's longtime friend and political ally, Congressman Bill Pascrell Jr., passed away at the age of 87 after losing a battle with respiratory illness. The following statement that Mr. Sarlo put out after the passing was, "We lost a good friend of mine, value the memory, so on and so forth. Lasting impact on life of service. My sympathies to his wife, their sons, and the Pascrell family in this time of loss." November 25th, 2024, Governor Phil Murphy signed Mr. Sarlo's sponsored bill S-3608 that allowed for the continuation of an expansion of operations that proved successful during the COVID-19 pandemic in the United States. What operations? I'm curious. Permits restaurants and certain alcoholic beverage retailers and manufacturers to conduct business within designated outdoor space or on public sidewalk. Okay. Just making sure that it's not like, allows heavy construction companies to continue work. Just making sure. You never know with these guys. He had to testify in a second corruption trial. Well, they haven't gotten him yet. Racketeering trial, not just corruption. We got the specifics. All right, I think that's enough on this guy. When I talk about Democratic politicians, when I talk about them and like their insincerity and the fact that like they have not protected us in large part because the Democrats have completely kowtowed to corporate interests, this is what I mean. On the national level, the Democrats have bent the knee to like major corporations, but on the local level, a lot of these guys are local corporate lawyers, lobbyists, and business leaders. Like, and don't get me wrong, Republicans are too, but Republicans are ideologically aligned with, like, we're not trying to meet Republicans at the lowest bar, you know? Like, yeah, a bunch of Republican politicians are corporate grifters. We're talking about the ability to resist these influences. You get me. This guy's funny as
I'm not afraid to say it. I feel strongly about that. And I think if we just talked a little bit more straight up and a little more practical and common sense, we could have did much better at the polls. Hey, elections have consequences.
Yep. And by the way,
elections have consequences. Sorry, guys. Trump won by like 1% of the vote. We can no longer have the 2 trans female athletes per state anymore. It was a public mandate on the issue. We have the overwhelming majority, bracket 1%. He's doing the construction bill right now. Bill summary: limits amount of payment the state agency as property owner may withhold from certain contractors on state construction contracts as 2% of the amount due. Sponsors Paul Sarlo. Yeah, he's literally doing it right now. As COO, I think one of the reasons that Americans are so passive and accepting when it comes to obvious corporate graft in their politicians is that we've deluded ourselves into believing that we don't have corruption issues, whereas people in like the Balkans already knew that it was a problem. Like, corruption is a major problem in many parts of the world, basically all parts of the world, you know, but in many parts of the world, they understand that the corruption exists. But in America, like, it is a widespread delusional belief that we don't have. Like, I genuinely think, because I've had this argument like a bunch of times with like liberals genuinely don't think we really have a corruption issue, or they think it's just like Republicans and the very obvious stuff, or like the really, really straightforward stuff, like the recent New Jersey senator, why am I blanking? Menendez, thank you. Yeah, Menendez. Yeah, the really, really straightforward, obvious stuff. When in reality, it's absolutely everywhere. And Americans are just like the only ones stupid enough to believe that it's not present. And why is Congress's approval so low? Because it doesn't do anything, mostly. Congress is like an institution designed to obstruct progress and accomplish nothing, so no one's ever going to be happy with Congress. People may not like Congress, but most Congress people have the majority approval of their constituencies, which is why there's so much re-election in Congress. Gavin was dining with lobbyists during the lockdown. Yeah, it's pretty much all of them, you know? I can already see the U.S. becoming like the Balkan country I live in. Yeah, the great cruelty. Who just said it? You're so right. Who just said it? The great cruelty in the United States. If you go over to Russia, both rich man and poor man can bribe cops, but in America, only the rich man can. It's up. If you're poor in like, I don't know, North Macedonia or whatever, you can probably save up a nest egg. And if you get in some bullshit trouble or whatever, you can be like, please look the other way. Benjamin said it. Benjamin said a lot of stuff this stream, which is why it's all starting to blur together. That's what happens. But that one was a banger. Over here in America, though, no poor man. You can't bribe a cop as a poor man. Let's all go to Mexico. They're banging over there right now. Claudia Sheinbaum is what, like 85% approval? We just need to pay cops less. True. We need to make them more desperate for the bribes. Cops take at least 5K for drunk driving. You just need to be really subtle with it, you know? Always wear a bulky jacket when you're driving, so if you get pulled over, you have like preloaded quarter dispensers that are all like in your chests and legs, so when they ask you to step out of the car, you can be like, whoop, and like a bunch of coins splatter, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, officer, and then like, you know, they're like splattering everywhere, and like eventually they'll take the hint, but you're not culpable for that, right? Like, what are they going to do, arrest you for having a bunch of jingly quarters? Like, you're not even like holding them. Spilled my money, sir. Not legal advice? Yeah, don't actually do this. Oh no, my nickels. Not even quarters. Don't actually do this. If cops get confused, their first instinct is to shoot you. And that might confuse them. That would confuse me too. You know, to be fair. They're scared of loud noises. Me too.